Hi, Instagram, and maybe YouTube later. I think it's been a couple days or weeks or something since I last recorded a video of any kind. And I've been having some interesting conversations with people lately, which I always do. I've always had interesting conversations with people. And this is, so first of all, not scripted, but I am talking about creativity. I am talking about our social media use, and I'm talking about those of us in the healing arts profession field who feel like what the public is available for is not where we're wanting to offer our services or our skill sets or whatever it is we feel we have to offer. Um, there's a lot of sound going on. It's a very active Friday with a lot of like yard work. So that's what's going on in the background. Um, and in my mind, all of those things that I listed off, they all go together. So I'm talking to, and there's no cliff notes because I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm talking to the people in their 20s that I've been talking to lately who feel like they have no ambition, no direction, or I can also speak to the folks, you 20-year-olds out there who feel like you've got too many options, too many ideas, too many things that you want to pursue, and you don't know how to focus. So when I started, they were like away somewhere on the other side, but they're getting closer. So I might need to go inside for a bit, which I don't enjoy doing, but let's just do that. Yeah. And inside, there's going to be cats talking. Okay. So let me just have a seat here. All right. I can probably actually focus better. And I don't have my freaking tripod. I don't know where I put that thing. So it's going to be, some shaky holding. Okay. So all of this centers around our social media use, which I think a lot of people in my world have a love-hate or a hate-hate relationship with it. And we've been having these conversations for years and years. And there seems to be, the word crescendo is coming to mind, so I'll just use that word, like a buildup of people who are fed up with social media and what it's done to our creative expression, our sense of self-appreciation, our ability to get our work out into the world, whatever that means for whoever is saying this. There's something about social media right now that is not working for a lot of people. And so I would not be surprised at all if we start seeing some rapid shifts in how people are showing up online, if people are showing up online at all. And over the years, as I've asked myself this question, how do I use social media effectively, because that's become the new billboard or television ad or radio ad for my business. And like, how did we all become so business focused anyway? Which personally, okay, so this is a ramble and just follow the thread. Um, this is one of those oral tradition, like rambling threads where you just need to pay attention and go along with it and pick up the pieces that are meaningful to you. But what I was saying there is, okay, so there's the social media marketing, and the like implied in that is if our social media accounts are not popular, then we are somehow not relevant. And then the next question in my mind was, how did we all become so business focused anyway? And then immediately following that is my belief that we should all be owning our own businesses anyway. But when I say that, it's a marketplace style. It's like the idea of the village and everyone in the village, small village, not 11.6 million followers village, but whatever the small village idea is, there are artisans and craftspeople and organizers and farmers and growers and all of this. There are people who have their purpose and they know their purpose, and it's directly reflected back to them because the communities are like in-person active. And a lot of us have lost this for a variety of reasons over generations. And a lot of us want to get back to that. So if we understand that as the umbrella to the conversations we are all having on some level about how we show up in life, I don't know where we take ourselves from there, but that's part of the question. Like that question of villageness and community and closeness has to be part of the question that we're asking. Now, real quickly, I want to talk to the 20-year-olds. And it could be 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, whatever. But those of us, but specifically because it's been some 20-year-olds, I've been in these questions and conversations for years, but they've been coming up again. So this idea, let me just focus on the idea of not having ambition. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't feel ambitious. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel like I have a purpose. These kinds of words, statements, ideas. One of the things that I would like to offer to that conversation is it may not be that you don't have ambition. It may be that the things that you desire and the experiences that you desire, they're not being reflected back to you as valuable. So I want you to consider that it may not be that you're not ambitious or that you don't have a sense of purpose in place. It may not be that you don't have desires for your life. It may be that what you actually desire, it may be that what you aspire to when you are just in conversation with yourself, it may be that those things, it may be that you're getting the message that those things are not valuable. It doesn't mean that those things are not valuable. It may just mean that you are not finding your reflection in the external world that you're looking at right now. And that may mean that you need to look someplace else for other people who have the creative inspiration that you have, who are into the things that you're into. This idea that the big world is the only true world, and I don't know if you understand that, but it's not true. So what I was going to say is, in my generation, we would say, I don't actually know if we said this, but this is what's coming through. Don't look for our salvation in the external world. Don't look for our identity in the external world. It's really important to me on a personal level that people understand that our creativity is not about other people. For most of us, I would say our creativity is not about other people. Our creativity, our creative impulses, we're not put here to impress other people. We have all, on an individual personal level, been given some kind of creative fire, creative inspiration. And it's ours. We were given it. So the first audience is ourself. And I understand that if you were trained to think that focusing on yourself is a selfish thing and therefore selfish things are bad, I understand how if you hear that, it's going to you're going to reject it. But the fact is, each of us were born into a life. And first and foremost, our life is our own. We were the ones that were given the gift of that life. So whatever it is you're inspired to explore, experience, create, that's yours to do. And it doesn't matter if somebody else out there gets it. Now, we're also our brains are wired for social connection. So it's also important that we connect with people who appreciate us, even if people don't get us. It's important that we connect with people who appreciate us. But our first, the drive in us should not be about other people and what will other people appreciate or think or experience when they're around us. It's our expression, which is our creativity, that should be primary, and then putting it out there, which doesn't mean that we have to put it on social media or that we even need to talk about. It could be just simple things like how we dress, or what kinds of dishes we keep in our house, what kind of music we play for ourselves, what kind of soap we like to use. I want people to understand creativity is not, it's not the things we're trained to think of with creativity. Creativity is everything. Creativity is how you are living your life. And when we're expressing our creativity, we're doing it for ourselves. And if there are people around who happen to get to experience that moment with us or that expression with us, then that's fantastic. But it's expressing our creativity that is what keeps us moving towards the things that inspire us, and eventually our sense of purpose and meaning in life, which may only be about us and our experience of life. It may have absolutely nothing to do with the job that you have or the work that you do in the world or your business or any of these things. Your purpose in life is simply to live your life. We have been taught that it has to show up in a container that looks a certain way to other people, and then gets a response from other people because it looks a certain way. And this was before Instagram and YouTube and all the social things. This was television and magazines and books even. So I'm really wanting us all to remember, regardless of age, our creativity has nothing to do with other people in those first moments of expression. In other words, we're not meant to focus on impressing other people with our creative expression. We're just supposed to get it out there. And by getting it out there, it could just, like I said, be the dishes that you put in your cabinet. So it doesn't have to be out there for other people to see. It's you following what inspires you. There is music, there is a color, there is a word, there is a sound, there is an instrument, there is a view of something, there is a dream, there is a personal practice that you have, there is a way that you brush your teeth. You are inspired. You are inspired every moment of the day. If you feel shut down and blocked, it may be that you are overriding your own inspiration in preference of what you think other people expect you to be inspired by or impressed with or producing. I don't know how to get out all the things or the heart of the thing that I want, especially the young people, to understand about life. And it's not that I understand everything about life, but this creativity piece and this purpose piece we are all focusing on the wrong thing if we're feeling purposeless and without creativity. I'll just say it again. We are not here, we are not designed to impress other people. That is not our purpose and function. And so if you find joy and pleasure in taking care of your animals, do that. That is enough. That is enough. There's actually a lot going on in my head right now. Right now, I'm listening to the folks out there weed whacking. My car battery is actually dead, so I have to figure out like who around me I can call on for help to get that battery restarted. And I actually just I didn't give them, but somebody in this complex asked me for charger cables a couple days ago. And I was actually able to help like with that, but now I need help, and I'm actually in a place I don't know anybody. So like that's in my head. And I share that for a number of reasons. First of all, just to get it out so that I'm not sitting with that, like, yes, I've acknowledged it. I need to figure that out. And also because this is like real life. Like you are only seeing whatever you're seeing on the other side of this camera, but like this is an actual human being who has shit to deal with. And there's like stacks of other things that I'm trying to sort out in my life right now. But whenever I come across someone who's struggling with the things that come from feeling like we're not in the right place at the right time in our lives, there's some bridge for me to this with the conversations I've been having with people who show up in the healing arts space, who are struggling with, how do I put this very experiential experience out there to people without feeling like I'm selling out the offering, like the experience or myself, or like you guys know, what I'm saying when I just say that. And okay, so I think this is the thread for both the conversation of my recent talks with these very, very young people who are feeling lost and anxious and depressed and this kind of thing, and my older community who've been at life for a while and in service in whatever ways that means to you. But I am going to focus on the people who have been trained to think we have to sell ourselves through these boxes. It's the same thing that we're talking about. Life is an experience. It is not a screenshot. It is not a post. It is not this distillation that we are being told we're supposed to be masterful at. The distillation that can be shown to other people. That's not what life is, and that's not what our work is. And more of us are like, I think part of this discontent and the withdrawal that many of us have been experiencing, like withdrawing from the platforms and withdrawing from the conversations and withdrawing from the fight, is because part of us is looking for the alternatives. And I want to say that there are alternatives. Lots of alternatives, because we are creative beings. We are creator beings first. And lots of alternatives, because there are still people out there. And so now I'm talking to the business owners out there who have some sort of healing service to offer. programs, one-on-ones, body work, whatever it is, there are still people doing that work without the programs, without the platforms, without this stuff that we have trained ourselves to prioritize. I think often of the teachers that I studied with back in the late 90s and the 2000s who didn't have social media. You know, email was just getting started. People were still printing off flyers and sending out mailings and connecting in person with organizers, in person by phone, having a conversation. This is what I do. Or someone was referred to someone else's work and said, hey, it would be really great if you could bring this person to your center. That was powerful. And these people supported themselves through that connection and that network. It is possible. And if that is how you want to do your business, if that's how you want to get yourself out there, then do that. Focus on building that. Those are relationships. You can take your entire life offline. People are surviving offline, guys. It's real. People are surviving offline. Going back to in-person communication. So it's possible. And if you're feeling called to do that, then do that. I'm seeing conversations among practitioners who are questioning their ability to put their work out there on these platforms because their work is deep. So it's possible. And there are people in the world. So boutique. Boutique is a word that I use a lot with people's businesses. I am a boutique business. I am not relatable to a lot of people. A lot of people do not, I'm not flashy. I don't have the time and patience to learn the marketing and branding visuals. I'm just not interested in it enough to make the effort to learn to do it skillfully. There are other people who do it beautifully, but I consider myself a boutique experience across all of the aspects of my life. It takes a particular kind of person to like feel like they resonate with me, to like what I'm saying, to understand what I'm saying, etc. And I'm no longer worried about being like a thousands of followers person. That's not what I'm interested in. And I'm hearing this conversation with a lot of you struggling because you offer depth work. You don't offer superficial work. You take people deep, and that we come. Okay, so what I was going to say is we come out of these mobile spaces, these phones and computers, etc., and we come into in-person experiences with one another in that depth work. However, I have experienced some people who hold space online in a very deep way. It's possible. Everything's possible. We just have to decide who we are and which directions we personally want to go in and need to go in. That's what needs to happen. And I think it's also important to come out of the numbers game. Come out of the numbers game. Our offerings, our service, our practices are not numbers games, but we've been trained to think that the numbers are what's important. We're not here to serve the numbers. We're here to serve ourselves first. And that's probably really hard for some of us to hear and for some of us to take in, but we're here to serve ourselves first. If we are not doing these practices that we're out here wanting to teach, we're not going to be teaching good practices. We know this. So you are here to serve yourself first. So serve yourself. Take care of yourself. Do your own work. Be your own creator. Create for yourself. And others, if you're wanting to share it externally, they'll catch on in some kind of way. Somehow, some way, they'll catch on. If you love the social media platforms, then love them up. Keep doing it. But if you are asking these questions, and if they're genuine questions, if it's not a running away from, but it's a, wow, there's got to be something different because this is not my jam, it's genuinely not my jam, then understand that there are other ways. And it's probably now time to step away from this and start building those other ways, creating in those other ways. We are creator beings, and our first audience is ourself. And if we live a life that feels rich to us, but seems invisible to the outside world because we've still got part of our programming trained on validation and approval from the external, then it's like our attitude and our mindset that we need to adjust. It's not that if we are living a rich life, it doesn't matter who's paying attention externally. There's a lot more in there, but I'm just going to stop it at this. And I know that it's going to reach the people that it will benefit. So enjoy your Friday.